Welcome to our Life is Strange Deep Dive, episode 27. This is not Life is Strange, in theory. It's a game called Bloom and Rage, and if you like Life is Strange games, you're going to like this game. As a Life is Strange game, it's probably the best one. It's definitely up there. It's maybe 6 hours long, so go ahead and play it. It's not going to take you all week. I think the strength of this game is in its moment-to-moment immersion. Once you hit 1995, you are there. You really believe that you are these kids living this life in this time, feeling these things, growing up together. It's an extraordinarily well-done experience, and that really comes down to the art division. Not any specific kind of art, all of the kinds of art. I think this might be the most technically skilled a Life is Strange art team has ever been. Now, Life is Strange has always had pretty good art teams, but usually they're better at one thing or another. This game is just universally, flat-out good at all of the art of all types. It is extraordinary. Does that mean it's a great game? Well, if you like Life is Strange games, you're definitely going to like this one a lot. It's a very vibes-focused game, and the vibes are great. They are, as the kids say, immaculate. But it has the same flaws that all of the Life is Strange games have, especially the first Life is Strange game. And those flaws are extremely noticeable. If you are a Life is Strange player, you already know that I'm talking about the really poor production values, the threadbare gameplay, and of course, the hilariously chaotic storylines that stop making sense almost immediately. Now, in the original Life is Strange, it was a very concept-focused storyline, and they had all these great ideas about how to write a really good coming-of-age story. They had all these concepts that could make a great coming-of-age story. You can rewind 10 seconds and you're in high school. What do? You do a million things with that, and you learn what it means to grow up and take responsibility and all that stuff. Great. Except instead of telling that story, they tell you an hour of that story, and then they decide your power changes. Now you can travel 10 years back in time. Oh, but instead of that story, now your power changes, and you can travel between dimensions. Oh, but instead of that story, there's a serial killer. Oh, and instead of that story, reality is falling apart. Oh, instead of... Any of those ideas, except for the serial killer, could have made a great coming-of-age story. But they didn't tell a great coming-of-age story. They just showed you ideas for what could be a great coming-of-age story. And that worked okay in the original Life is Strange because a big part of that game was the fact that your two main characters thought that the world made no sense. They were the people who thought they only had each other. The only thing that they had that existed was their connection to each other, and everything else was just a chaotic jumble. And that worked really well. I feel that is not something that any of the other Life is Strange games have really recaptured. This game does recapture it, but it recaptures it in much the same way the original Life is Strange did, by having a story that doesn't hold together. And we're going to talk about that, but if that matters to you, it's going to matter to you. It's one of those games where the story just doesn't quite get there. And you might be thinking, wow, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I loved that story. And that's okay. There are definitely two kinds of players. There's vibes-focused players and there's story-focused players, and I am more of the second. And obviously, Life is Strange as a series of games, as a mini-genre, has always catered more towards a vibe-centric gameplay. The tonality of these games, the texture of these games, is what makes them work so well. But we are still going to discuss the story and the flaws that I see in it. And now what's really fascinating about this game to me is the crew. And some of you are thinking, oh, you mean the fact that the Life is Strange 1 devs came back? No, that's not really very interesting to me, except for the fact that they are clearly responsible for the flaws in Life is Strange 1 because they brought the same flaws here. But I'm talking about Nina Freeman. Nina Freeman's been on my channel before. I love a lot of her games. She is the lead writer on Eliza, and that was a fantastically written game with a lot of episodes about it right here on this channel. So... what happened? Well, I think that almost all of the scenes, the individual beats, are written by her. I can clearly tell that. I'd like to think that I'm familiar enough with her writing to see her fingerprints on stuff. Her scenes are written very, very well, and they're part of the immaculate tone of the moment-to-moment play of this game. But once you start to go from scene to scene and stitch the larger framework together, things fall apart pretty quick. in the same way they fell apart in Life is Strange 1. And I just don't get the feeling that that was Nina Freeman's fault. I don't feel like she writes that way. I get the feeling that she was brought a story structure and told to make it work. And, I mean, maybe that's not the case. It's hard to tell with games. But I can definitely feel her fingerprints on the details and not on the larger story structure. And I'm saying that now because we're going to spend a lot of time talking about story structure, and I don't want to lay it all at her feet. The good and the bad, I don't know who's responsible for what. But I do want to say that Nina Freeman earns a tremendous amount of respect from me for all of the games she's worked on and for the parts of this game that I can see her in. So even when I talk smack about this game, I'm not going to lay it at her feet because I don't know what happened, but it doesn't feel like she wrote those parts. Either way, we're going to go ahead and analyze the whole thing from top to bottom starting next episode. Go ahead and take a look below if you can't find the next episode. It may not go up on YouTube because YouTube is pretty bad about, killing your family if you upload any footage of a game, especially Life is Strange games. They're really good at that. But I'll upload it somewhere. See ya.